How do I stop my family from giving my kids animal products behind my back? Hey, in case you don't know me, my name is Jason Cheney, and I'm one half of a husband and wife team, and we're dedicated to helping you reclaim your physical and financial health, and I specialize on the physical side. And so this was a question that came in today, and it was about if you have family members that don't really approve of what you're doing, switching to a plant-based or vegan lifestyle, and how do you stop them from sneaking animal products to your kids? And so here's the question. I'm gonna just paraphrase because it's pretty long. My whole family been on about 4 weeks of being vegan. We went cold turkey, and it's me, my husband, and our 3 kids who range from 6, 4, and 2. So I worked out all my children's protein, calcium, and omega needs, and I try to hit these needs every day. But for the last 4 weeks, every time my mother talks to me, she tells me that kids shouldn't be vegan, how they're missing out on all these other foods. And she's worried because she knows so many vegans that end up in the hospital and they have to go back to eating meat. And I think when she take care of the kids, she will sneak them milk, chocolate, and ice cream. I know she feels sorry for them for missing out, but I have all the chocolate, ice cream, yogurt, and milk alternatives they need, and they like them. It's really making me mad because I know for a fact the kids are getting a better nutrition now than their nugget diet beforehand. But she won't listen and keeps going on about it. What do I do? I'm pulling my hair out. And so this is a really good question. And this is an issue most people face when they're starting to transition. There's going to always be times when people are not going to be aboard or supportive for you. And so this is why we did the 3M transition to a plant-based diet. And so first I want to start you out on the second M, which is mapping. And so with mapping, if you saw yesterday's video, mapping, I like to compare it to a marathon. Only you can run this race. No one can run it for you. So there's no way you're going to be able to convince your mom what you're doing is right unless she gets on her own race and her own journey of trying to become healthier. So with that, just come to an understanding that it's okay she doesn't want to agree with your lifestyle, but it's not her choice to dictate your lifestyle at all. Now for the kids, because they're all young and they're not in an age where they can really speak for themselves and say, hey, I don't want this, I don't eat this. You do have to be more cautious. So one of the things you can do is make sure you have things in place whenever they're with someone else, and that it's all the alternatives. And if they've been with someone for about 6 to 8 hours and you know they normally eat so much different foods like some ice cream or something like that, and if it's not gone or if it's still there, then ask them, why haven't my kid ate this? It's okay to ask them, hey, I provided this food. You're not having to spend money for it. Why isn't my kid not eating it? Why haven't you fed it to them? And so now that's the mapping part. So now I want to go back to the first M, which is mindset, because this is going to be how you really deal with this. One, start probably trying to change your language around being mad each time, because you don't want the kids to see you mad or see them to feel that tension between you and your mom. And then they get a stigma around eating to where they may feel, okay, eating this way, it makes me feel this, it makes my family feel this way, so I got to eat in private, or they got to start sneak eating. You want to be very careful that, because kids can pick up on the energy, especially with being mad. So I would choose the words to more like agitated, peeved, ticked off, something like that, where it's not a solid negative emotion. And so here's the way that I would approach your mom. This is from a coaching perspective. One, I will go to her and ask her, and I'll be like, look, I know you love the grandkids, and use maybe an illness that maybe she's suffering from, or one that everyone knows, such as diabetes, hypertension, heart disease. Use one of those. So let's take diabetes, for example. If your mom's suffering from diabetes, and ask her, hey, do you want the grandkids to have diabetes? What would that make you feel like, knowing that they may have to take insulin the rest of their life or something like that? And get her to get into that emotion of it, but for the grandkids, wanting the best health for them. And then from there, explain to her why you don't want the kids eating certain foods. And then, but also give her information from a third party. So one of the things that like Cece did for me, my wife, when so most people didn't know in my family I had a cardiac event while I was still living in Texas. And so she knew I was real cautious, and that was one of the things that really worried me about having another cardiac event. So when we started to transition, because I was still eating eggs because I thought I needed the protein, she found a webinar that Dr. Greger, the author of How Not to Die, did. and he talked about eggs and what it does to your heart. And he explained how one egg, it puts your heart into a small seizure for about 4 hours. And so when she showed me that from a third party source, I was like, I'm done eating eggs. For some reason, we all have these identities on our loved ones and people that we grew up with or people that we known for a long time, to where we feel like we know them and we don't see them for where they are in life. So your mom she feels like she knows you, so she doesn't see where you're at in life, and she doesn't see how you're growing to other levels in life. And so that's why you may want to use a third party source. And you can go to nutritionfacts.org. Dr. Greger has tons of information, scientific and videos explaining diabetes. Also, he explains how directly all children cancers come from consuming of dairy products and all that information. And he breaks down the science to where anybody can understand it. And another thing you may want to do is have her come over one day and sit down and watch a documentary. So like if she do suffer from diabetes, and I'm just using this one as an example, I would go on YouTube and use this documentary. It's 30 Days Raw Reversing Diabetes. This is a study they did in Arizona under a plant-based doctor. He brought in people from all different parts of the world, of the United States, all different cultural backgrounds, and all were in different levels of dealing with diabetes. And he showed through a raw diet in 30 days, people who had type 1 and type 2 diabetes, it was reversed. People who were taking so much insulin, then they didn't have to take any insulin. So like you may want to show her things like that and get her emotionally involved into it, because her love for the grandkids, and once she sees like, oh, what I'm doing is harming them, it will start to change the things that she do, and she'll be more cautious of doing it. And that's just a better way of getting her involved and trying to hit her logically, like, you need to stop doing this, you need to do that. Because don't let transitioning to a healthier lifestyle become you start isolating yourself from loved ones, or you start breaking up those family bonds. It doesn't have to be that. We all want to be healthier, especially in a time like this with COVID. And here's the reality. We all need to be doing as much as we can to be boosting our immune system, making sure we're getting the proper nutrition. It's not about meaning well anymore. It's about well-being. And we have to be eating a well-being diet, which consists of fruits and vegetables. And so I hope that was helpful for you. I'm not going to give any homework for this one because this is a really deep one, and I know a lot of people suffer from this one. So just watch this one 2 or 3 times and keep listening to it over and over and see what ideas that may come to you and how you can help. If you do have a very specific issue like this, just shoot me a message. I don't have a problem answering it, because this is something really important, and especially when it's dealing with the kids. The kids are our future, so we have to give them the best possibility at life. And not having chronic illnesses and autoimmune diseases is the best way. So I hope that was helpful for you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Ciao.